Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs, welcome back to another video. Now, quick side note, the competition winner will be announced at the end of the video, and yes, I am boiling because I'm wearing a Peter Capaldi coat, but what are you going to do? It's lockdown. Doctor Who Lockdown is finally doing a rewatch of the best finale of all time, The Doctor Falls and World Enough and Time. But yeah, cast your mind back to 2017, the year that I believe the best series of Doctor Who was aired. Obviously that being Series 10. Stephen Moffat and Peter Capaldi's last. A new era was on the horizon. But today I will discuss how underrated and absolutely genius the writing for the Series 10 finale truly is, bringing together the old and the new, the classic and the modern. Series 10's finale had it all. So stick around to find out who wins this Doctor Who YouTube thingy fan series book. Thank you to all who entered. So today I'm mainly going to be talking about characters, character arcs, and I'll put the sonic screwdriver down. Now, in my opinion, this series has the best dynamic of any TARDIS team ever. At the beginning of World Enough and Time, we follow the slowly morally improving Missy, the female incarnation of the Master, as she guides both Bill and Nardone, or as she rightly calls them, exposition and comic relief, on an adventure as the 12th Doctor watches eagerly from his TARDIS, waiting for her to turn good. Now, speaking of Missy, we might as well jump straight in. Let's take a look at Missy. There's so much to unpack for each of these fantastic characters. Now, Missy, the Master, a villain who has been in the series since its early years, first facing off with John Pertwee's Third Doctor.
I am usually referred to as the Master.
Oh, is that so?
This character has always been evil. She has always hated and battled and fought with the Doctor. The Master has always been a somewhat mirror evil version of what the Doctor would be like if he was insane. This can clearly be seen through the fact that the Doctor wants to heal and help any people or planet that he finds, whereas the Master wants to burn and kill any people or planet that he comes across.
Look upon my work, Doctor, and despair.
But there's still a clear fondness that the pair have for each other. This is also clear many times throughout the series, most notably when John Sims' Master is dying in David Tennant's Doctor's arms.
Regenerate! How about that?
And David Tennant is crying, screaming for him to regenerate. Or even in this very episode, as the 12th Doctor says, the Master is the only person to ever even be somewhat remotely like the Doctor. He wants her to be good.
She's the only person that I've ever met who's even remotely like me.
So more than anything, you want her to be good?
And that's what this finale does so well. Finally, after years and years of this on-screen constant back and forth, we see it draw to a somewhat conclusion. The Doctor finally begins to make the Master, well, in this case Missy, his friend once again. Just like when they were young children.
She was my first friend from the first day at the academy. So fast, so funny. She was my man crush.
This clear bond can even be seen from Missy's first appearance. Her sole motivation is she wants her friend back. She just wants the Doctor's attention.
Why are you doing this?
I need you to know we're not so different. I need my friend back.
Then, once she's put inside the vault during Series 10, as we can see from Extremis and throughout the whole mystery box arc of the series,
Just a woman.
she begins to turn good. She goes cold turkey.
Keep remembering all the people I've killed. Every day I think of more.
The dynamic works so well on so many levels because it feels like a true finale, not just between the 12th Doctor and Missy, but between the Doctor as a character and the Master as a character throughout all of their various incarnations. Throughout the story, Missy struggles as she is literally brought up and faced with her past.
Hello, Missy. I'm the Master. And I'm very worried about my future.
As John Sims' Master once again rears his evil head in a very dramatic reveal.
When you happen to be someone's former prime minister.
It's just a shame that the BBC spoilt it, isn't it? This pull between the dark side and the light side, if you want, the past and the future of Missy. Will she stand with the Doctor? Will she not stand with the Doctor? Well, in the end she does.
Because he's right. Because it's time to stand with him.
She stands with him and kills her former self, both literally representing the fact that she's killing her past. She's letting the past die, killing off that bad side of her. And literally, she is killing her past. She is killing who she used to be. It reminds me of a certain quote.
Let the past die. Kill it, if you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be.
Wait, sorry, wrong franchise. But you see my point, the point still stands. Now, we'll move on to Bill, a new type of companion for modern Who. This sort of archetype of character has been seen in classic Who with people like Ace. It's that brilliant student-teacher relationship where, for once in New Who, the companion isn't madly in love with the Doctor. She's not longing for him. She's not just because the Doctor's the Doctor, she has to fall in love, and the Doctor doesn't fall in love with her. It's a purely platonic relationship, and this can be seen with Donna Noble as well, and it seems to work really well. Almost much better than it does when the companion and Doctor start to fall for each other.
I love you.
Just shut up, shut up, shut up, shut it up.
The bond between 12 and Bill is fantastic. It can be seen clearly that they both care for each other, and unlike Clara, Amy, River, Rose or Donna, or any of them, Bill is just your average human. She's just a friend. She's not some all-powerful saviour of time and space. She's not the bad wolf. She's not the Dr. Donna. She's not the girl who waited. She's not the girl who died 1,000 times. She's not the impossible girl. She's just Bill. She serves chips. This helps me, and most of the audience, to feel far more engaged with her character. She's not some unrealistic standard. She is literally just a person. Unlike people like Clara or Amy, you could just bump into Bill on the street. She's that sort of person. She's portrayed by the wonderful Pearl Mackie, and it's a real breath of fresh air, as she's not afraid to call out the Doctor when she thinks he's in the wrong.
Don't tell me what to think. Tell me this. You've seen people die before, yeah?
Of course.
You still care?
Of course I care.
How many? Tell me how many people you've seen die.
She asks all the questions that us fans have asked for years.
Why'd you run like that?
Like what?
Like a penguin with his arse on fire.
Absolutely brilliant, and the comedic moments, the emotional moments, it all has extreme weight, and it builds up in this finale when, sadly, she gets converted into a Cyberman. The emotional impact of her death is phenomenal.
Just promise me one thing, yeah? Just promise you won't get me killed.
Once again, the 12th Doctor's duty of care has not been adhered to. He fails to save her. This has an impact on him, and especially Bill, as we follow Bill's journey of coming to terms with the fact that she's now a Cyberman.
I am Bill Potts.
Whenever any child looks at her, they're scared, they hate her, they don't want to go near her, simply for the way she looks. She becomes a somewhat Frankenstein's monster type of creature, and I really enjoyed that subplot. Now, we'll move on to the somewhat controversial Nardole.
It's me, Nardy!
The relationship between Nardole and the Doctor is pretty much different to any other companion ever. Not only is he there for comedic relief, as Missy points out, but he's a good and loyal friend. The banter and constant bickering between the two is incredibly amusing, and can be likened to a nagging mother and grumpy teenager.
Excuse me. Just what is the TARDIS doing down here?
I'm over 2,000 years old. I don't always want to take the stairs.
It's not a deeply complex relationship, but it's enjoyable and funny nonetheless. Nardone remains to be a fantastic addition and companion. Now, before I continue, I want to point out that when you add all these companions together and then add the 12th Doctor, you get an absolutely brilliant dynamic they're bouncing off each other, they're being funny, serious, everything you want out of Doctor Who is there. Now, I couldn't forget the one and only legendary Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor, a man who has gone through a very long and tricky on-screen journey, initially starting off as an out-of-touch and incredibly angry, irritable man who questions his own morality. Is he even a good man anymore?
Tell me, am I a good man?
Well, after 3 series, he is a good man more than ever. Without hope, without witness, and without reward, he does the right thing. He is truly the Doctor. He has found who he is. He wants nothing more than to save people. And just be kind. These messages and this type of hero is incredibly important for younger audiences and children who look up and aspire to be this person. Not to sound stupid, but compared to superheroes and people who go round punching and fighting, we've got the Doctor, a centre of moral right, doing the right thing without violence, which is an incredibly important thing for a younger audience to listen to. At the end of The Doctor Falls, he bumps into his former self. Similar and mirroring the Missy and the Master plot, the Doctor sees what he once was. He sees his past, which is so vastly different to where the character is at today, thus beginning the perfect epilogue to the series. Now, before continuing, I would like to put some series of Doctor Who into categories. These are my personal categories, feel free to use them, but yeah, don't get triggered. So, it's universally agreed that Classic Who is the run of the show which took place from 1963 to 1986. The next category is the Wilderness Years. This includes things like Dimension in Time, the TV movie, and many other possibly and arguably canonical different episodes, audio adventures, etc. In my eyes, I see the beginning of New Who as starting from 2005, the Russell T Davies, Christopher Eccleston era, and I see that New Who ended in 2017 with the end of Stephen Moffat. Now, before you shoot me, this is not because I hate Jodie Whittaker. Not at all. This is not because I hate the Whittaker era. In fact, I actually love it. I'm really enjoying it, as you can see from my Series 12 reviews. It contains some of my favourite episodes of the past decade. But, just like New New York or New New Earth, I'll call the Chibnall era New New Who. I do this simply because the current iteration of the show has a different and unique tone, style, cameras, directors, writers, cast. It pretty much is a reboot of the franchise. Even the series length and episode times are different, mirroring Classic Who to New Who. So yeah, we're currently in New New Who. I'm not saying any of them are better than the other, as they all have fantastic qualities. But for the sake of this video, I see Twice Upon a Time as the end of New Who. And I see it as the big final chapter, final epilogue to Classic and New Who. And that's why I love the episodes so much, as the story and characters know that tremendous change is imminent. The narrative purpose of David Bradley's First Doctor is to show how far the Doctor has come and evolved, and that the whole show is built on accepting change, and nothing would ever happen. Doctor Who would just die out without change. It settles fans' minds as a female Doctor was on the horizon, this completely new thing to the show. It says, well look, the First Doctor was barely anything like the 12th Doctor, but they're still the same person, it's still the same show. We as the audience have to accept, alongside Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor, that the change will occur, and it's not always bad. In the words of John Sim, we must evolve to survive. The whole of Twice Upon a Time shows us the past, the current, and the future, and it's a Christmas episode. So at this point I kind of sound like I'm describing Scrooge or A Christmas Carol, whatever you want to call it. Well, I mean the real one by Charles Dickens, not the crappy Doctor Who version. And to top it all off, at the end of the episode we're shown how important memories truly are, and how they change and evolve over time, and the new memories that are to come, the old memories that we can fondly remember. Just like the Doctor, the audience is thrown in at the deep end at the end of the episode, not knowing what to do. With a crashing TARDIS and new adventures to be had, the 13th Doctor is flung out of the TARDIS, and yeah, that's where I'm going to leave the video for today, because that is the epilogue and ending of what I'd call New Who. So, I hope you did enjoy. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Now, for the competition winners. I've whittled it down to a quarter of the people who entered. Now, this is because I've gone through a bunch of random computer programs which have selected a quarter. This quarter I can now put onto this cheesy game show wheel. So yeah, let's go. We have a winner. The Good Dalek has won this competition, the 3,000 subscribers giveaway, so yeah, I'll be sending him one of these books. Good Dalek, if you're watching this, please do tell me your details so I can send you the book, and thanks. That does bring us to the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, remember to like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. Goodbye.
Don't forget to click below.
Subscribe to the Confused Adipose.